I had thought for so long that family is blood. And family is always being there for each other and having each other's backs. Now I think it's just accepting someone for who they are, how they are, their quirks, the things you love, the things that annoy you. That's family.
But yeah, so we make movies. What is We Make Movies, and how did we come about, and how did this festival come about? Basically, We Make Movies was a solution, for three filmmakers that found themselves in Los Angeles, about 11 years ago, and really just wanted to find like-minded people. Um, because I don't know, I'm sure people out there are from all over the place, but being in Los Angeles can be a very lonely place. It's very lonely, especially if you don't know anyone. And Tara Samuel, Joe Leonard, and Sam Messman came here, two of which, Joe and Sam, had just made a feature. And we're just trying to, find film festivals to screen it in, trying to sell it, all of that end of the business. And the big thing they were finding was they just didn't know a lot of like-minded people who were going through the same struggles. So it can get really you can get really entrenched in the industry part of the entertainment business when you don't have almost like an advisory council or just a network of artists to fall back on or to ask advice to. Because the thing about, making movies and just life in general is it's really great to go to people you know and trust and ask them about their past mistakes. Because, the biggest thing I've learned from being in the entertainment industry is you only succeed from understanding your failures. And so Sam and Joe and Tara, they connected in LA, and they just started a little reading group, and they would just meet once a month at first, and just little by little they started finding writers, actors, directors, cinematographers, different artists who just wanted just a place to meet, have some drinks, have some really cool script, meet cool good actors, some good writers, and pretty quickly it developed into a community. And at first it was just kind of like a collective, a film collective slash club, and then over and after time and the need, it slowly turned into a production services company. And as well, now we're a film collective on a very structured, regular basis, a production services company, and a digital marketing agency. So we can essentially, from soup to nuts, we can develop projects, service them in any way, from any kind of pre-production service, development service, production service, all the way through delivering your film to Netflix or festivals. And then we have a digital marketing agency that handles ad campaigns for larger corporations like Apple, OWC, and high-end tech companies and corporations like that. So it's kind of all through the map. We work on any type of project at any budget level, and we come at it with a very DIY philosophy and some really basic core values. And yeah, we're all about solving problems with really good solutions. So as far as this film festival, this came about after over a couple of years and a couple of different combinations of things. We had for a long time we had an annual WMM Fest that started back in 2013, and that was just really a way to screen films by filmmakers in the community, and we would do that once a year, every summer, and that slowly, we every year we would have more and more films. We started a screening series that was a monthly and sometimes bi-monthly screening series. And that and the WMM Fest started combining because the screening series was indie films from around Los Angeles. And the WMM Fest was just filmmakers within the community. Eventually, Whit and I thought it would be a great idea to combine the WMM Fest and the screening series together and create an international film festival, because we already started having the kind of connections to find the different filmmakers. And we thought, it would also be a great way to kind of consolidate all the energy of a monthly screening festival and an annual festival. And so that's why, we've been slowly turning this into a larger and larger film festival. So that's the roundabout biography of who we are, what we do, and how this festival came about. Yeah, did I miss anything, guys?
No, I mean, I think at a certain point, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, at a certain point, like when we decided to go international, we opened up the submissions process to the world. Whereas, like you said before, we were mostly just dealing with local filmmakers that we knew and respected and stuff like that. So once we became an international festival, we posted on Film Freeway, and now we're getting films from all over the place and all kinds of films. And where we might have a few dozen films submitted in the old days, we now get a few hundred submitted every year to the festival. And we're expanding our programming every year, and it's very exciting. This stuff gets better and better.
Awesome. So what are you guys in particular looking forward to this year? If you were to say like a genre of film, or, um, you know, particular filmmakers from a country, or without naming like the actual, films themselves, but what are you most looking forward to this year? I'll start with you, Whit.
Well, I mean, I'll let Eric expound a little bit more on this after I say a couple things. But the first thing is we've got a great number of really awesome experimental films, and it's one of the things we're proud about the festival. And these aren't your granddad's experimental films. I mean, so many of these are just super entertaining, visually exciting. Some of them are actually very, very funny. And I think particularly the virtual part of the festival is a great time to experiment with experimental films. If you haven't watched them in the past, check them out, see what you think. You'll probably enjoy what you're watching. Other than that, what thrills me about the fest is just the overall quality of the films. We have so many genres, but we're not an activist film festival. We don't have a mission beyond just showing really excellent movies. And one of the reasons we have a lot of experimental films is because a lot of the experimentals that were submitted were great, were really terrific. And what I'm seeing that also excites me is that we're seeing films by a broader and broader expanse of types of filmmakers. So more women filmmakers, more LGBTQI plus filmmakers, and films that are in, that involve that type of subject matter. And the wonderful thing is we're not programming them because of their subject matter. We're programming them because they're awesome. So that says to me that a lot more great films are getting made by a much broader spectrum of humanity.
Yeah, and just to jump onto that, honestly, one of the reasons why I wanted to get into screening films in general was that I myself love that in the age we're in, we can make a film. Like, you don't have to have, an immense amount of money to run out, and you don't have to shoot on film anymore. Yeah. You can make a great, amazing film on, with all the digital technology out there. And when I started getting into filmmaking, it's like, well, wait a minute, there's so many other people making similar projects. And I wanted to find more and more who are making inventive and creative projects. I myself kind of lean towards more of the experimental, but I'm interested in, someone who made a horror film for, not a lot of money. And not that money is a major thing, but I'm always really interested in someone who's able to make something for not a lot of resources and make it really creatively. And maybe not even just the money, but it always kind of impresses me when I meet someone who is kind of doing it, maybe not all on their own, but with very limited cast and crew. Just in general, it's always interesting to me to meet someone who's made something of high quality without a ton of help. And it's always really interesting. Not that you don't need help, but it's so possible to do so much without needing, a vast amount of money these days. And so, we make movies as very much a DIY film company. And so, our festival in a lot of ways focuses, on this new distilled art form where it's, someone who, it's very normal to meet someone who's shot, directed, and edited their film. And it's just kind of part of how the industry goes now, is that, the more you want to direct a film, the more you should know how to edit, and understanding cameras just kind of goes along with that. So, so it's kind of, for me, it's all about DIY and finding really creative artists who are very DIY.
Yeah, I'd like to riff on that too. Like, if we had run a DIY film festival 15 years ago, we'd be showing mostly 8 and 16 millimeter films. Mm-hmm. and some high def video from the time. But what's amazing about a DIY film fest now is that you can show films that are they're literally cinema ready. I mean, they look as good as anything in a major cinema, because the technology has developed in such a way that you're absolutely right. I mean, we no longer have to worry about the cost of film. You know, you're not burning film all the time and losing money that way. And the technology is so amazing. I mean, I can't believe how gorgeous so many of the films we get are, you know, for the festival are now. And then you find out they were shot on an iPhone, or, you know, on some kind of single lens reflex digital camera. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's kind of, you know, and you were mentioning, you know, that experimental films are a big part of it, and they really are. And one of the reasons why, you know, I wanted to develop a larger film festival is that I think that there's a misconception about what experimental filmmaking is. And I really love the idea of bringing all types of filmmakers together into the same room, and getting them to appreciate each other's artwork. So I think so much these days, and how the world's going, we do kind of get pushed into niches, and some of that's, you know, justifiable, and some of that's a need. But it's really great, you know, and one of the cool things about the festival is that every block is kind of a variety of styles and genres. And, you know, you very easily will see a experimental film paired with a horror film and a drama, and, you know, it's more paired for theme rather than style and genre. And that's really fun. And then you get those people who can all appreciate each other, and it might even open their mind to each other's style and creativity. And that's kind of, you know, that's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's, to me, that's another thing that's great about the festival, is the whole networking aspect of it. And that, you know, a filmmaker who's never really dabbled in experimental might see an experimental film and think, hey, I may want to try my hand at that, or maybe I could use those techniques in my next narrative feature to enhance, you know. So it's literally like a what do you call it, a melting pot of creative energy.
Exactly. Yeah.
How do you
Yeah,
guys
no,
think? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, what were
No,
you going to say?
no, go ahead.
No, I mean, it is the melting pot is the great idea, and that's the thing. You know, Los Angeles in general and the film industry, like I said, things can people and types of filmmakers can get sectioned off, and that's, you know, that's also the spirit of We Make Movies, is to create a larger community, as it's far more interesting to get people, even if they don't make the same types of films, but if they have the same values. And that's really important, is value, a value system, right? You know, you can make horror films, you can make experimental films, but at the end of the day, if you're a really great person to be around and a really resourceful person, you know, both can learn and can work with each other and use each other on each other's projects. And that's kind of the great thing about collaboration in art, is that you don't have to all see things the same way. Great artists and collaborators can all work together. And so that's kind of, you know, that's kind of great, and we can all be each other's resources. And yeah, and that's kind of the spirit of We Make Movies. And yeah, and finding more and more great filmmakers out there can also expose them to what we're doing as a company, you know, on our whole platform. And one thing we didn't mention was, or I didn't mention rather, this year, we were able to get a team of investors together and put up $75,000 for 3 micro budget feature films. And now some people might say, $25,000 for a feature film, are you insane? And yeah, I am. And I've made 4 feature films for less than that. The idea is to essentially not have too much money, where, you know, you might get in a little bit of trouble, but have enough money to get a movie made for sure. And then we're also putting in a ton of resources. And we're making three. We're going to be making three great feature films. The competition is going to be in mid October, the final competition for it, and it's really kind of exciting, and it's kind of everything we stand for as far as all of this DIY creativity and collaboration. It's kind of coming to a climax, I guess you could say.
Great. So I think we should run down the program. So maybe we'll start with you, Wit, and we will talk through what is happening today and then go from there.
Awesome. Well, if we want to do it, do we want to do it by block? I'm happy to give a
Do that.
summation of everything that's going to happen. Great. Well, after us, in between every bit of programming, there's going to be interstitial programming, some previews, stuff like that. So there's always something for you to watch online, no matter when you tune in. If you stick around long enough, you're going to end up in a block of films of all different types. Our first block 2 at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time today is Mom and M, which is a documentary feature about a non-conventional American family facing conventional American problems. And it's really kind of incredible. It's a 60-minute documentary, and we'll be having a discussion about it afterwards. Block 3, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time is, we call this block a la carte excellence. It is 8 different short films from several from many genres. There's experimental, there's horror, there's comedy, there is animated films in there, and I recommend them highly. A couple of my, and I will, without naming names, a couple of my favorite experimental films are in that block. Great fun. Block 4, 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Another block of 4 short films and 1 feature. The feature is Another Word for Learning, which is an amazing film about a native culture mother and daughter who are trying to find a way to school her that is not traditional schooling, because that doesn't really fit her personality. And then again, several different, we've got a great single person monologue short film in there, a couple of experimentals, and a great fantasy piece in there. And then our final block of the evening for today is a block I called Weirdsville. And not everything here is experimental, but everything's a little bit odd. It's a collection of 7 short films, again, rolling from the horrific to the beautiful to the simply odd. And we hope to see you at all of those blocks today.
Excellent. Do you want to run through tomorrow's programming and maybe the rest of the festival? Go for it, Whit.
Me? Okay, absolutely. So, not to be dull, but okay, block 6, Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. 5 short films, again, across the spectrum of types of films. Just FYI, what you'll be seeing during a lot of the virtual festival is a lot of our international films. One of the things that was nice about doing part virtual and part international is that with a virtual festival, you can actually have the talkbacks with your international filmmakers who might not be able to afford flying to Los Angeles to be in the live fest. That is at 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Thursday. At 3 p.m., another beautiful block 7, Cinema Salad. And this one is chock-a-block full of films. This one has 10 short films in it. It's so much entertainment for the buck. I can't tell you. And again, it's all over the place. I would say heavier on, it's really not heavier on anything. There's about 3 or 4 comedies, a couple of dramas, and quite a bit of 3 or 4 really good short experimental films. Block 8 is a panel block. This will feature me, the director of the festival. I'm a featured actor in horror films that have been on the big screen, and we're doing a talk on what makes a great horror film. Joining me will be Shanna Massian, a phenomenal director of award-winning short films, Steve Newman, writer and director, Yu Zhang Ho, professional editor, and Michael Klug, who's a film critic and screenwriter, who I like to call Mr. Horror Pants. Block 9, Thursday at 6:15 p.m., the virtual premiere of Her and Him feature film, ultra low budget feature film, directed by our own Eric Michael Kochmer, and a very short experimental film, kind of amazing, called Two Faces Have I. Block 10, 8:15 p.m. on Thursday, 3 longer form short films, basically. Private Chat, Salvager, and 31 Hours. One is a documentary, one is fantasy, and one is comedy. Block 11, Thursday, 9:45 p.m. PDT. I call the Dystopian Now. It features Empire, a feature out of Chicago, Illinois, that was shot entirely on green screen, which is about environmental pollution. It is a comedy horror film. And Good Run, an absolutely gorgeous cinematic animated short. Block 12. Now we're into Friday already. Woohoo! Block 12, Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. A wonderful, how do I say this? Essay feature, and the alley she whitewashed in light blue, from Israel. And then a couple of shorts, Uprooted and Bare of Memories, across the spectrum. Block 13, 1 p.m. Friday. A couple of our nominees for awards this year. Here Comes the Wolf, An Endless Summer, and a couple of other great shorts. Block 14, we call Cinemacopia. Also, our last, I believe, virtual screening before we get into the live part of the festival. And it is, again, 4 longer form short films, a very interesting essay film, Foreign Sickness, and a comedy, an experimental film, and one other selection for that as well, but 4 great films. Then Block 15, we begin our live festival. Friday, live at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, a live in-person panel hosted by Eric Michael Kochmer about the collaborative nature of filmmaking. So if you wondered about how to make a film, you got to collaborate. Eric will explain to you. Block 16 is our opening night party at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time at the Broadwater Plunge Bar, 6324 Santa Monica Boulevard. We hope you'll join us. And it will be followed by the first block of live films at the Broadwater Theater. Friday night, locally sourced, a lot of films that were made in LA, some by We Make Movies members, and again, all kinds of genres, 6 great short films. Block 18, 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, more films. Sign Man, our featured feature, an amazing under $50,000 feature film, a la the films like Clerks of the 90s, those kind of low budget feature films that feature great acting, terrific comedy, and a terrific ensemble cast. And a funny experimental short, animated short, Kill Your Idioms, and Ex-Sisters-in-Law, a web series, which is also funny. So there's a lot of comedy in our Friday night, Block 18, 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. 10 p.m. Friday, Block 19, another big mixed bag of films. 8 fantastic short films all over the place in terms of genre, mostly local filmmakers, some We Make Movies filmmakers. Block 20, our Friday midnight movie, Sleeper Keeper. This is a gorgeous 60-minute feature film. It's mind-boggling, and it'll make your eyes cross. It's so beautiful. Okay, we're into Saturday, Block 21, Saturday, 11 a.m. More mostly local films, a couple of foreign films, including former We Make Movies members, and again, across the spectrum. It's 6 great short films. 12:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Saturday. We have another panel called Ultra Low Budget DIY Filmmaking. It is an in-person event. It will be held at the theater, and you will learn from these DIY filmmakers how to MacGyver your way out of fires on set wear the hats, stretch budgets until they almost burst. The panelists are Eric Michael Kochmer, Ross Colton, Rachel Mason, Anthony Ferraro, Ruben Gaberick, and Luke Hollywood. These are all directors who have worked in the business and they've got important stuff to teach you. Block 23, an in-person screening, all shorts, 5 shorts, and I would say heavy on the comedy. It's pretty great. Block 22, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Saturday. A mixed bag of films again. I'm trying to see if, yes, it's an in-person screening, and everything from comedy to experimental to drama. Block 25, 4 shorts, longer form shorts, at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Saturday. Block 26, more shorts, 4. Oh, yes, am I right? No. 3 shorts, and then the live screening of Her and Him, one of our featured features, directed by our own very talented Eric Michael Kochmer. The others are, one of the things that's fun about this block is we actually have a short film from 1981, which hasn't been trotted out in a while, but it's absolutely one of the most interesting things in the festival, and I recommend it. Block 27, Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. 3 longer form shorts. I would say these 3 shorts are 3 of the most beautifully shot films in the festival. So join us at 8:30 p.m. for Block 27 on Saturday night. Block 28, 10 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, California time. Again, a great documentary feature. We are all in this together, about a guy who rides all over the United States on his bicycle with no money and relies on the kindness of strangers to survive the whole time he's going across the country. Surrounded by a couple of great comedic shorts, Green Cobra, which will curl your toes, and Shower Season, which is a great little short comedy. Our midnight show on Saturday night, The Last Porno Show. Note, it is adults only. It is not a porno movie, but there's stuff in it. So yeah, don't keep the kids up for this midnight show, but come and join us, grown-ups. Sunday morning, we have a bonus block, 2 foreign films that are really, really incredibly interesting. Externo is a beautifully shot essay film, which is basically about how unethical people gain power in the world. And Eve is a short film. I would call it the evil Santa Claus film. It's really fascinating. Block 30. These last couple of film blocks feature a huge number of the nominees for awards, including, Best Shorts nominees, Best Actor, Best Actress, Cinematographer. 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Block 30, live at the theater, and that features 8 phenomenal films across the spectrum. And Block 31, 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Sunday, 6 more amazing films. Please join us. A lot of them are nominated for awards. And then, of course, after that, the big block, Block 32, the awards ceremony, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, which is also a party at the Broadwater Plunge, which is connected to the theater, and it's an amazing bar. We hope, also, just to let everybody know, for the live portions of the festival, a fun thing to do in between blocks is go get a drink at the Plunge. So
Perfect. Thank you so much, Whit. Eric, if you would just run down how people can purchase tickets, then we can sign off and let people enjoy these movies.
Well, Sapna, it's as easy going to WMMFilmfest.com. So let's all go there right now, why don't we? And we can walk through it. Let's see. All right, so I go to the page, and I go
Click
to
on 2021.
2021, and let's see.
There's a drop down there.
All right, I
Click
go
on that, and you'll see all the blocks.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a Facebook or a YouTube icon, that means that it's a virtual block. That means that you can click on either one of those
get live
to watch. That's right. And
Yeah,
if it's not a virtual one, then you'll buy tickets.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Can I add one last thing?
Sure.
Because it sounded like Eric cut out there for a second, so let me just reiterate 2 times the the website is WMMINTLfilmfest.com. That's WMMINTLfilmfest.com. And you can do everything from there, folks.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to our awesome film festival, and hope you enjoy a lot of really quality programming from all different genres, all different types of filmmakers, all different types of stories. We really pride ourselves on collecting some really unique films and showcasing some unique voices that don't usually get heard. So enjoy, and we'll see you hopefully at one of the live events. Peace out.
I think I had thought for so long that family is blood, and family is always being there for each other and having each other's backs. Now I think it's just accepting someone for who they are, how they are, their quirks, the things you love, the things that annoy you. That's family.
On the hand, on the lips, on the shoulder. We sit together in our home,
Overlooking the sea.
Κι αν πω, ας με σκεπάσει το σκοτάδι και ας γίνει νύχτα γύρω μου το φως. Το φως ακόμα για σένα δεν θα είναι φωτεινό. Και η μέρα θα μένει σκιασμένη σαν τη νύχτα, αφού το σκοτάδι για σένα είναι παρόμοιο. Σκέπασες τα κτίρια με τη νύχτα και νύχτα απλώνεται. Μακρύτερα από την καρδιά των πραγμάτων, από τον πρώτο χτύπο που σημαίνει την αυγή στη γη, πιο πέρα και από τους ουρανούς. Και τώρα...
سکوت نفرت انگیز روزی تابستانی، گرمترین روز تاریخ، روزی که چهره‌ها در آفتاب سوختند.
How the fuck am I lucky because I get to travel around so much? It's not like I'm travelling around Europe, is it? I'm going from one shitty part of town to the next. It's fucking shit!
When you talk about Indigenous future and Indigenous children.
أذكر بس الحين ضاعت.
هذا أمر الله.
An absolute terror, says Film Magazine. Brimming with iconoclastic vision, says Cinema Magazine.
Sundays always smell good.
Night. Break out.
Candles blown out.
What would that be like? Sides would form, alliances forged, and the winner is the player that convinces one of the other two to join his side.
Destroyed by NASA when scientists discovered it was carrying a mysterious high-level radiation.
Max
is one of us. What did you just say?
Jonah's from Boston. He's not responsible for what
The pain
happened.
in my chest slowly creeped back in. Laying, looking at my phone at the time, thinking about getting up.
All right then, well, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you.
Frank?
Mercy is something I know, but don't want to know.
Cheese? No.
$4.
No.
All right, how's the sublet working out for you?
Great. Just great.
If I go to the left-hand side.
Wait.
So there you have your very own guide to flushing the heads.
همش خشم داری، همش میخوای انتقامتو از همه بگیری، در صورتی که خشمی که داری از چیه؟ از یک چیزی که واقعیت رو نمیخوای خوب ببینی.
مامان به خودم آسیب میزنم.
Hi guys, thank you so much for coming out to We Make Movies International Film Festival 2021. If you're new to We Make Movies, you can see us as your filmmaking toolkit. We offer weekly virtual filmmaker labs across the country, and we're also your service for pre-production, production, post-production, marketing, distribution. We have access to affordable insurance, help with union contracts, color, sound, basically anything. You can go to wemakemovies.org. If you're looking for, free and practical alternatives to film school, we have dozens of filmmaking tutorials all over the country. Don't worry, I don't have it. Smartphone Studio TV is where you can find some amazing information